I'm Emma, and you're watching My Birthway, and this is where I'm updating you about being 17 weeks pregnant. So I definitely have felt my baby move. It is completely official now, and I know now that when I look back at the other times that I mentioned it in the 16 and the 15-week videos, where I thought I was feeling like I felt a kick, I think at 15 weeks, and I felt what I thought was a couple kicks at 16 weeks. It is definitely the case, because starting a couple days ago, when I was at work one day sitting down, I just started to get beat up in a good way. So it was kicking in the same spot where I felt kicking, which was like my lower left region of my abdomen. And I felt maybe punching on the other side, but not the same strength, because I mentioned it to someone and they were like, oh, what if it's twins in there? And I was like, I don't think so. It's possible, but I'm feeling it. It's very, it's one-sided. There is more kicking, more pressure on this one side. And it was what I thought was a kick, I think is definitely a kick. And then I feel like I'm feeling somersaults and like tap dancing. I mean, just all sorts of crazy stuff, like Cirque du Soleil moves. Like just all of a sudden one day, it was like, okay, we're just going to do crazy acrobatic stuff. Although I'm sure the baby has been doing crazy acrobatic stuff, but I couldn't sense it until now. And this is one of the weeks when the bones are really calcifying. So they were kind of more cartilagey before, and now they're starting to turn more into bone as you know it. And so that's going to be, there's going to be more ability to kick me because the bones are stronger, so that's really exciting. There's definitely stuff going on in there, and I'm still not used to it. It still kind of confuses me at first, and I'm like, what is that? Oh, but it also sort of feels like there's like a gerbil trying to find its way out of me. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it feels like it's that active. It feels like scratching and moving. I mean, this is a jumping baby. I kind of hybridized bean and baby. Jumping baby bean, I guess. Someone said, oh, this is going to be a really active baby, and that's fine with me. Whatever you're going to be, just be it, baby. That's okay. I'm not really surprised, considering that I'm kind of a keep moving, walk around, just never sit down kind of personality, and Jason's really athletic too, so it's funny to think about. So that's like the biggest thing this week is I am sure that I feel the baby, which means that around 15 weeks I felt the baby for the first time, but I wasn't sure of it then, but now I am. So felt the baby at 15 weeks and sure that I feel the baby at 17 weeks, which also means that it's probably likely that I don't have an anterior placental attachment, which means when the placenta attaches to the front of the uterus, which doesn't mean anything bad. It just is a place for the placenta to attach. It's just less common than a posterior attachment, which is attaching at the back of the uterus. And it's harder to feel the baby kick because you usually feel them through the front abdominal region when the placenta is anterior. So if you're someone who is 17 weeks pregnant and you haven't felt a baby kick, there's a chance part of the reason is because your placenta is on the front of your uterus, and then another reason is just because everybody's different. You never know. Some people don't feel it till 20, 22 weeks, no problem. I'm sure your baby's totally fine. It's just different for everybody. And I think the thing about this being so special, it's special for everyone. But I think why it's particularly special for me is because I've said before, we're not doing ultrasounds, so we won't see any images of the baby. We also won't hear the the heartbeat that you get from an ultrasound. We will when we do like a fetoscope or like use a stethoscope, which we'll be able to do that pretty soon. But we won't, hear that before. And so it's kind of like, and we didn't get ultrasounds before, but I knew I was pregnant, but it's sort of like, yeah, I knew I was pregnant, but it's sort of like, was I really? I mean, did I make it up? I mean, I know I didn't, but it's the first real proof. And I can understand why when you read literature about this period of time, it's called the quickening. And it's actually called that because they would say in the older days, they would say the quick and the dead. It comes from that phrase. The quick means the baby's alive, and the dead means it's not. So that's why quickening is so exciting, because it's like the first real confirmation that moms in a world without ultrasounds have that their baby is really in there. You know what I mean? It's like the first bonding moment you kind of have, besides just a psychological, spiritual bonding moment. It's the first physical one that you have, that you can really remember and rely on and stuff. So it's really cool for that reason. I'm really excited about it for that reason. And now I just feel like this kid's never going to stop. I'm just going to get kicked non-stop for, 5 more months, which is fine, but it seems like this is going to be a kicker. Hopefully the baby is not kicking me while labor is occurring, although it's unlikely, because hopefully, I imagine it's he, I don't know, will be pretty tightly jammed in there, and he'll just, come on out. They don't kick you and move quite as much when they're way big, because they have less space. Because they've developed to get so fat and big. They don't have as much room in the amniotic sac to kick around. So that's happened. I've also noticed that, let's see, everything else is probably pretty much the same as last week, except my nipples are itchy. It's super weird. I mean, it's probably normal, but I also feel like it's because I've been working a lot more lately in public, not around the house, and I have to wear normal clothes, and I have to wear something that keeps my boobs in. When you're around the house, you don't have to wear a bra, or, you can wear whatever clothes you want. But when you're in public, you have to look like a normal human. Of course, everyone knows this. You have to adult. And I just feel like my boobs are like, let me out of this prison that you have put me in. And so I think they're just like, give me some airflow. And then I don't feel like for example, today I'm not working outside the house. I'm doing stuff around the house. I'm doing homestead things. I don't have them jammed into a bra and a tight shirt and stuff like that. They're a lot more happy today. They're less itchy. So that's kind of an interesting thing that I need to keep in mind a little bit more when I pick my clothes, is to make sure I get some good airflow, at least periodically, because I think that's kind of one of the big things. Those are the two big updates from this week. The biggest one is just the quickening has happened, when you can feel the baby. And it also, too, I think does another service of allowing me to feel like I can kind of already sense this baby's personality, which may or may not be true, but it's fun so you get to bond with the baby in that way, because you don't know their personality before you can feel them interacting with you. But this is an actual interaction. The baby, whether or not they know what's going on, they're kicking me in the uterus and they're moving, and that's an interaction. That's one that I'm getting feedback from. And so I'm really excited to just see if this is related to their personality as a born human, not as an unborn human. We'll see. Maybe they're going to be like the wiggliest kid known to mankind.